My name is Natalie Tran, and at 30 years old, I had become the unofficial problem solver of my family. Not because I was wiser or kinder, just because everyone else avoided responsibility like it was contagious. My older sister Vanessa was the glamorous one. My uncle Harold was the wealthy one. My parents were the peacekeepers. And me? I was the dependable one, which really meant I was the first number they dialed when money went missing. I worked as a project manager for a logistics firm in Portland, lived in a small rented duplex that creaked in winter, and drove a 10-year-old Subaru that never complained. Paid off, steady, unremarkable. Apparently, that translated to, Natalie can handle it. It was 6:12 p.m., on a cold December Sunday, when I once again found myself at Uncle Harold's sprawling house overlooking the Willamette River. 30 people squeezed around a table long enough to seat a board meeting. Crystal stemware, linen napkins, candles that smelled like pine and ego. I only came for Grandma Leon's mashed potatoes, hand-mashed, perfectly salted, unchanged for decades. I was midway through my second spoonful when Uncle Harold tapped his glass. The room fell silent on instinct. At 65, broad-shouldered and blunt as a sledgehammer, he stood like a man accustomed to delivering verdicts. And tonight, he had one prepared. "Family announcement," Uncle Harold declared. I kept eating. His announcements were usually just updates about his latest acquisition, another rental property, another contract he'd crushed, another reminder of why he considered himself the Tran family patriarch. But then he said, "This is about Vanessa." My fork hovered midair. Of course it was. Vanessa, 26, eyeliner sharp enough to slice through tension, dress expensive enough to cover 3 months of my utilities. She inherited the praise, the spotlight, the endless forgiveness. I inherited the budget spreadsheets. "Vanessa's having some trouble," Harold continued. I didn't look up. Vanessa's trouble wasn't an event, it was a pattern. Her overspending, her credit cards, her impulsive weekend trips to LA. "She needs help," he added. And then I felt it, 30 pairs of eyes shifting. Not toward Harold with his luxury lifestyle, not toward my parents, not toward every uncle and cousin pretending their finances weren't duct taped together. They all turned toward me. My stomach tightened. My fork touched the plate with a soft tap. "Natalie," Uncle Harold said, drenched in false warmth. "You're doing well at that logistics job, right? No kids, no mortgage, no debt." The subtext stung. No husband, no children, therefore no real obligations. "I manage," I answered. "You should help your sister." There it was, the request disguised as family loyalty. "What kind of help?" "Her car payment," he said. "Just until she's steady again." "I am still." "How much?" $2,300 a month, he replied. Vanessa finally muttered. "It's a BMW, I need it for work." "You work part-time at a boutique 5 miles from my place," I said quietly. She bristled. "It's reliable." I almost laughed. "A Subaru is reliable. A Toyota Camry is reliable," I said. "A BMW 5 Series is a status symbol you can't maintain on 15 hours a week." My mom's soft warning drifted from my left, the peacekeeping tone she used whenever she wanted me to quiet down and open my wallet. She clearly hadn't known the payments were this absurd. "What's the interest rate?" I asked. Silence. "Vanessa, what's the rate?" she muttered into her wine. Louder. Her face reddened. 9%. 9% on a luxury car in December 2024. That wasn't financing, that was a trap. I looked at my parents. My dad focused intensely on his plate. My mom stared upward as if searching for divine intervention. "You co-signed this, didn't you?" More silence. "You co-signed a 9% loan on a $60,000 car for someone working part-time at a boutique?" I said. "She didn't need a BMW, she needed a bus pass." Uncle Harold's voice cut in, firm and final. "Family helps family, that's how we do things." His head fires. I studied him 3 homes, a boat, a lifetime of power, and yet he expected me, with my aging Subaru and rented duplex, to fund Vanessa's choices. "You help her then," I said quietly. The room froze. No one challenged Harold. Ever. His glare hardened. "You'll cover the payments, Natalie, $2,300 a month, until she's steady." Part of me wanted to laugh. Part of me wanted to walk out into the cold. Instead, I said, "No, Uncle Harold blinked. Excuse me? I met his stare. No. You're refusing to help your own sister? He demanded. Vanessa bought a car she can't afford, I said. She can sell it, buy something reasonable, and learn how money actually works. She'll lose money on the sale, my mother whispered. She'll lose more trying to keep up with payments she can't sustain on a depreciating luxury car, I replied. That's how upside-down loans happen. Vanessa shot to her feet. I can't believe you, Natalie. You're my sister. In occasions, I am your sister, I said quietly. Not your ATM. Uncle Harold's voice slipped into the cold authority he probably used in boardrooms. Let me be perfectly clear. You refuse to help your family, and you're out. I frowned. Out of what? Everything, he said. Dinners, holidays, the Tran family. You walk away from this, don't bother coming back. The room froze. Aunts, uncles, cousins, my parents avoiding my eyes, Vanessa glaring like I'd torched her precious BMW. And Grandma Leanne, small and 83, watching me not with judgment, but with weary understanding. You're giving me an ultimatum, I said. Pay $2,300 a month for Vanessa's BMW or lose my family. I'm telling you how things work, Uncle Harold snapped. No, I said. You're telling me the price of admission. I stood. The chair scraped sharply. Then I'm out. Vanessa's jaw dropped. You're serious? Completely. Thanks for watching. I walked to the kitchen, set down my plate, grabbed my coat and keys. You walk out that door, Natalie, don't come back, Uncle Harold called. I opened the door. I wasn't planning to. Cold December air hit my face clean, sharp, honest. I walked to my Subaru, started the engine, and left without looking back. I pulled into my driveway at 7:23 p.m. and walked inside without turning on the lights. I sat on my couch, coat still on, hands trembling slightly, waiting for the emotions to hit: anger, grief, relief, regret. Nothing came. Just a hollow quiet, as if I'd finally put down a burden I'd been carrying for years, but my muscles hadn't realized they were free yet. When I don't know what to feel, I calculate. I opened my laptop and started a new spreadsheet titled Tran Family Contributions. I typed slowly at first, then faster. Dad's medical gaps. The $350 a month I'd been covering for his insulin and supplies, 2 years, totaling $8,400. Cousin Brandon's nursing textbooks, $500 a semester for 6 semesters, $3,000. Grandma Leanne's property taxes. During the years her benefits came up short, $1,200 annually. 5 years, $6,000. Vanessa's crises. Broken phone, deposit shortfall, credit card rescue, $7,800. And the family vacation fund my mom insisted on, $2,000 a year for 5 years, $10,000, a trip we never took. I totaled it, $35,200. That was the price of being the dependable one. My phone buzzed. Mom, please call. We need to fix this. Dad, don't be rash. Family matters. Vanessa, I can't believe you did this to me. Uncle Harold, your choice. Live with it. Then Ethan. Hey Natalie, you okay? Call me. I stared at his name, thumb hovering, and set the phone down. For once, I wasn't going to comfort anyone else. I looked again at the number, $35,200. Tonight, I'd finally learned what my loyalty was worth and who it was wasted on. In my family, belonging always came with a price tag. I closed my laptop. For the first time in my life, I had said no, and I didn't yet realize that no was the doorway into an entirely different life. The first week was quiet, not peaceful and eerie, watching kind of quiet, like something hovered just outside my peripheral vision. I kept reaching for my phone to check the Tran family group chat, only to remember I wasn't in it anymore. I'd walked out of that riverfront house and 30 staring faces, yet every silence tugged at me like an old habit refusing to die. On Monday morning, the first knock came. 3 firm taps, heavy with guilt. I checked the peephole. Dad. He stood there in the cold, holding 2 coffees, one black, one with almond milk, the way I took mine. He looked 10 years older. Natalie, he called softly. I know you're home. Your car's right there. I backed away from the door. Sweetheart, just 5 minutes. Please. 5 minutes, the bait that always led to tears, guilt, and another responsibility. I didn't answer. I slipped on noise-canceling headphones and let a podcast drown him out. 20 minutes later, he was gone. 2 untouched coffees sat neatly on my doormat. By Wednesday, the calls began: Mom, Dad, Vanessa. Unknown numbers that were definitely aunts. I let them all ring. Thursday, 8:15 p.m. Another knock. Mom. Natalie, please talk to me, she whispered. I leaned against the door. Natalie, I can see your shadow. She sniffed. Can we just talk through the door? We're already talking, I said. You can't shut us out like this. You didn't say a word when Uncle Harold kicked me out, I said through the door. You didn't defend me. We were shocked, Mom whispered. No, you were complicit. Silence followed. What's not fair, I continued, is being the family wallet for 5 years and getting thrown away the moment I say no. We never saw you that way. Then why was I the only one asked to pay? She had no answer. Harold has 3 houses. You and Dad have savings. Aunt Linda just remodeled her kitchen. Why was Vanessa's BMW my responsibility? Family helps family, she pleaded. No, family doesn't demand payments. Natalie, you're being cruel. Telsey, cruel was letting me be humiliated in front of 30 people. She began sobbing, the kind that once broke me. My hand hovered over the lock, but then I remembered Vanessa's glare, Harold's smirk, my parents' silence. Go home, Mom. Natalie. Go home. 5 minutes later, she left. I watched her reach the car. I barely slept. Her sobs echoed until dawn. Week 2, Wednesday. A text from my cousin Jamie, the only one who never asked for money. Natalie, what happened Sunday? Everyone's panicking. Harold gave me an ultimatum. Pay Vanessa's $2,300 BMW payment or be cut off. I walked out. Are you serious? That's insane. You did the right thing. The first validation I'd heard. Week 3, Thursday. Another message from Jamie. Big update. Family meeting yesterday. My pulse jumped. What did they say? Jamie sent a screenshot. Uncle Harold's message to the entire extended Tran family. Natalie has shown us who she truly is. Selfish. Disloyal. The Tran family will move on without her. Anyone who contacts her chooses sides against us. My stomach twisted. The man with 3 houses was calling me selfish. The man demanding I cover nearly $30,000 a year in car payments was calling me ungrateful. Something inside me sharpened. Thanks for telling me, I replied. There's more, Jamie wrote. Derek said your parents looked sick. Your mom cried, but no one defended you. I exhaled slowly. Of course they didn't. That weekend, another knock came. Neither my parents nor Vanessa. Adam. He stood on my porch holding a bag of takeout, rain in his hair, worry in his eyes. You weren't answering, he said. Thought you'd been swallowed by a spreadsheet. I almost smiled. I didn't want to drag you into this. Natalie, he murmured, stepping inside. You didn't drag me. I've seen this pattern before. He told me about his ex, Sophie, the manipulation, the guilt, the debt. I know what it's like to mistake obligation for love, he said gently. You're not the villain. A tightness in my chest eased. For the first time since that dinner, I didn't feel alone. Sunday night, Jamie texted again. It's official. Harold told everyone you're dead to the family. Dead. A strange, echoing ache spread through me. Thanks for telling me, I typed. Natalie, some of us don't agree with him. Some is enough, I wrote. I set my phone down and stared at the quiet apartment around me. For years, I thought silence meant peace. Now I knew better. Silence had a price, but so did dignity, and for the first time in my adult life, I wasn't the one paying it. By week 4, the quiet felt less heavy and more suspicious. In my family, silence usually meant scheming, panic, or another bill they hoped might magically land in my lap. The first sign appeared Tuesday morning, an email from Vanessa. Subject line: We need to talk. I hesitated, then opened it. Natalie, I know you're mad. You have every right. But you don't understand my situation. The BMW was a mistake, okay? But I can't sell it, I'm underwater. If you helped for a few months, until I get a better job, I could fix this. You're my sister, please. It was the closest she'd ever come to accountability, but even her apology had a hook. I typed back, Vanessa, you're underwater because you bought a $60,000 car at 9% interest on a part-time job. That's not a situation, it's a consequence. Here's what you need to do. Sell the BMW, take the loss, buy something under $8,000, get full-time work, make a budget. None of this requires my money. Send. 30 seconds later, explosion. Seriously? Lecture mode? At least I have a life. You just work like a robot. No wonder you're alone. Mute. Silence. Peace. 2 days later, 7 a.m. A text from Jamie. Natalie, you need to hear this. What happened? Typing. Vanishing. Returning. Vanessa's BMW got repossessed yesterday morning. I set down my coffee. When? 7 a.m. Repo truck. She was in pajamas. Neighbors saw everything. I winced, not out of sympathy. Out of second-hand embarrassment, I asked. How many payments did she miss? Before the dinner, Jamie replied. My jaw tightened. So they all knew, I wrote. And still wanted me to pay? Yep. Of course. They hadn't been saving Vanessa, they'd been setting me up. Thanks for telling me, I typed. She's posting on Instagram about being abandoned, Jamie added. Of course she was. I checked her profile even though I knew better. Front and center was a video. Vanessa in our parents' living room, eyes glossy, voice trembling with performance-level precision. I just want everyone to know what's really happening, she sniffled. My sister Natalie, who I've always supported, has abandoned our family. Supported? She once stole my coat and pretended it was hers for 6 months. She refuses to help me. Now I'm living at home with no car, trying to get to work. I don't know what I did to deserve this. She dabbed her eyes dramatically. Apparently money matters more to her than family. 4,000 views, 200 comments, all strangers praising her courage. Not one asked for context. I closed the app. Narratives weren't about truth, they were about who hit post first. 2 days later, something unexpected arrived. An email from Grandma Lean's ancient AOL account. Dear Natalie, she wrote, Mrs. Patterson helped me type this. I think about you every day. Harold was wrong. I told him so in Cantonese so Linda wouldn't understand. You're allowed to say no, my girl. Allowed to have boundaries. I saved you mashed potatoes. Come when you're ready. I love you. I read it 3 times, then saved it, printed it, folded it, and tucked it into my wallet. In a family where everyone chose Harold's side, Grandma Leanne chose me. And then came the moment I never expected. Sunday morning, 6:12 a.m., a text from Dad. Harold had a heart attack. He's asking for you. My heart thudded once, hard, then steadied into something cold and distant. I didn't reply. 10 minutes later, Mom called. Voicemail. Natalie, she sobbed. He's in ICU. He wants to apologize. Please, please come. He may not have long. I listened twice, then deleted it not out of cruelty, but survival. For months, he'd called me selfish, ungrateful, disloyal. Now fear made him remember my name. Fear was not remorse. On Tuesday, a softer knock. Mom again. Natalie, please open the door. I didn't. He's scared, she whispered. He thinks he's dying. He should have thought about that before exiling me, I answered through the door. He didn't mean it, she cried. He said it in front of 30 people. He meant every word. How can you be so cold? I let out a quiet, sad laugh. I learned from all of you. Footsteps, a car door, silence, and something inside me loosened, not guilt, but release. By Thursday, Jamie texted, Harold's stable, going home next week. Good, I replied. Family's furious you didn't visit. I know. For what it's worth, I get it. He had months to apologize. He didn't. You don't owe him anything. I stared at the message, breathing easier, not smiling but seen, understood, not cruel, just done. That night, in my dim apartment, I thought of Vanessa's curated drama, Dad's quiet disappointment, Mom's tears on my doormat, Grandma's defiance, Adam's honesty, and those 30 faces staring at me like furniture that dared speak. I kept thinking about the number on my spreadsheet, $35,200, a membership fee, a price of admission, and suddenly I understood. They didn't want me back. They wanted my compliance, my silence, my wallet. But I wasn't offering any of it anymore. Not for sickness, not for tears, not for accusations of selfishness. No, wasn't cruelty. No, wasn't betrayal. No, was oxygen. No, was survival. No, was finally mine. Month 2 felt different, not easier, just different. The ache dulled, like a bruise instead of an open wound. I still reached for my phone sometimes, forgetting the family group chat no longer included me. I still replayed that dinner. I still heard Mom's muffled sobs outside my door on harder nights. But something else emerged. My bank account had stopped bleeding. The $350 I used to send Dad each month untouched. The emergency transfers for Vanessa no longer draining me. The $2,000 vacation fund still in place. Each month, I transferred $2,300, the amount Uncle Harold demanded from checking to savings. If they wanted that money so badly, I figured someone truly worthy should receive it, me. Adam noticed first. We sat at my kitchen counter on a rainy Thursday eating takeout. He glanced at my spreadsheet green numbers where red once lived. "You're glowing," he said. "I'm not." "You are. The Natalie I met didn't know peace. This one's beginning to." "I still feel guilty," I admitted. "Feeling guilty doesn't mean you're wrong," he murmured. "It means you were conditioned. That guilt isn't yours, it was taught to you." My throat tightened. 2 weeks later, Jamie texted. "Big news. Vanessa got a job." "A real one?" "Full-time admin at a law firm. $52K. Benefits." I stared at the screen. Vanessa had never worked full-time in her entire life. She drifted from part-time job to part-time job, cushioning every fall with my bank account. "How'd she get it?" I typed. "No idea. But she's sticking with it," Jamie replied. Hours later came another update. "She bought a car." I sighed. "Please tell me it's not a Mercedes." 2019. Honda Civic. Used. $14K. Put $4K down. Payments about $280. I blinked. That was responsible. Practically reasonable. "Good for her," I wrote. "Damn." Mature response, Jamie teased. "I'm not angry at her. I'm just done rescuing her." A month later, a letter arrived, cream paper, blue ink. "Grandma, dear Natalie. Harold is recovering slowly. The heart attack humbled him. He hasn't mentioned you. I think it's shame, not anger. Your parents miss you. They won't admit it. But your father still sets an extra plate before remembering. Vanessa is paying her own bills now. The loss woke her up. I'm not asking you to return. I'm telling you that you deserved better. We failed you. I failed you by staying quiet. I love you. Grandma. P.S. Call me. Patterson says I'm lonely." My eyes blurred. I folded it, added it to the first. 2 letters now, proof someone saw me, not my wallet. Thanksgiving came my first without them. Jamie invited me. Chosen family Thanksgiving. No drama, no ultimatums, and definitely no $2,300 mashed potatoes. I brought 2 bottles of absurdly good wine, the kind I could finally afford. There were 12 of us. Jamie, his girlfriend, co-workers, a neighbor, Derek, Adam. We cooked together, burned the rolls, laughed until our stomachs hurt, ate too much, lay on the floor arguing about football calls. Someone fell asleep on the couch, clutching a half-empty plate. It was small, messy, warm. A holiday without guilt felt like entering an entirely different universe. When everyone left, Adam stayed to help clean. He leaned against the counter and said quietly, "This is what family should feel like." I didn't answer. I didn't need to. On New Year's Eve, Derek hosted a party. Adam and I drifted together and apart, comfortable in the ebb and flow. At midnight, fireworks burst over Portland, bright, noisy, hopeful. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Happy New Year, Natalie. I'm sorry for my part in everything. Maybe someday we can talk. No pressure." I stared at the message, then locked my phone. I didn't delete it, I didn't reply. Healing wasn't a door you kicked open, it was a hinge that turned slowly. By spring, my savings grew faster than I imagined. No more $2,300 rescues. No more quiet transfers to fill Dad's gaps. 3 months, 4, 6. By March, my birthday, I had $72,000. A down payment, Jamie said. A down payment. The next weekend, I started looking. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, Sacramento area. One house stood out $340,000, lemon tree in the yard. A week later, my offer was accepted. When I got the keys, I stood in the empty living room. Sunlight poured through bare windows. No furniture, just space. I laughed loud, free. 30 years old, and I had bought my own home. Not through favors, not through family connections, but because I stopped paying to be mistreated. The housewarming was small. 12 people. Jamie brought an orange beanbag. Derek brought expensive whiskey. Neighbors brought curiosity. Adam brought a toolbox, just in case, and Grandma Lien brought herself 2 hours in an Uber, cane in one hand, determination in the other. "You came," I whispered. "Nonsense," she said. "My granddaughter bought a house. I'm not missing that." I showed her the kitchen, the bedrooms, the yard. When we reached the lemon tree, she touched a branch gently. "Good soil," she murmured. "It'll grow well," I swallowed. "So will you," she added. For the first time in years, I believed her. Summer arrived. In the produce aisle, I reached for an avocado at the same moment someone else did. "Sorry, Natalie." I froze. Vanessa, her hair shorter, her posture steadier. "Hey," she said softly. "Hi." Silence settled between us. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "For everything, the car, the posts, the guilt. For making you feel like your no wasn't allowed. No excuses, just truth." "I appreciate that," I said. "You don't have to forgive me," she replied. "Maybe someday." "Maybe," I said. A year after that dinner, I stood in my kitchen, coffee in hand, looking at the lemon tree. The house filled now. Adam's hoodie on a chair, Grandma's photos on the fridge, Jamie's spare key. If you've ever had to choose yourself over a family that took you for granted, then you understand what this journey cost me. Tell me in the comments, would you have walked away too? Your support reminds me that saying no isn't selfish, it's survival. And if you're facing a similar crossroads, please remember, protecting your peace is not betrayal. It's the beginning of becoming who you're meant to be.